Now, we get to the point, we get to the reason why everyone's here. Abu Dhabi, UFC 253, the main event, Israel Adesanya, 19-0 versus other undefeated contender, Paulo Costa, 13-0. Paulo Costa has been running through people. He looks like a Greek god. Jesus Christ. Have you seen this man's body? Have you seen his physique? The first time I saw him in there with Johnny Hendricks, and I remember the ref was in the middle. I was like, gee, they don't even belong in the same league. I mean, poor Johnny Hendricks, man. I don't want to talk bad about him. He's given his due. He's a great guy. But when you compared physically to Paulo Costa, you're like, this guy's on steroids? Are you sure? Did we check him again? Check him twice. Check him 3 times. It was nuts, man. So he's a freak. He's a specimen. Not to mention, he calls out Yoel Romero. Nobody in their mama, nobody calls out Yoel Romero. And Paulo Costa called out Yoel Romero, and he won. And Adesanya is the most sophisticated striker the UFC's ever seen. 80 kickboxing fights. He has a ridiculous record in kickboxing, like 74 wins and 6 losses, or something like that. It's unfreaking believable. So you're getting in there, and it's the classic matador versus, the bull. Is he going to be too fast for him and dodge him and slip him, or is Paulo going to run him down? I'll be honest. My own prediction was that it's going to be a close fight. It's going to be 5 rounds long, and Izzy's going to pick him apart. He's going to do the kickboxing thing, stay on the outside, kick him, bob, weave, you name it, do that, play his game. And that's not what happened. Or that is what happened, but condensed. Because basically he picked him apart, but he did it within 2 rounds. So the fight starts off, and the very first shot that's thrown is a kick by Adesanya. Pop. And the beauty of it is, because they're in this arena where you can hear all the sound, there's no fans, you hear every kick, man. I'm telling you, 2-3 kicks in, you could look at Costa's lead leg, and you could see individual marks from every single kick. When he talks about precision, like, Jesus Christ, you have some people who are, I'm talking to the Lord a lot in this one. I don't know why. Sorry, Jesus. When you have people who talk about what they're going to do and then do it, it is so empowering. When Conor would say, hey, I'm going to knock him out in the second round, and then he does, it's like, holy smokes. So when Adesanya says, so when Izzy says, I've got amazing precision, and then he manages to kick Costa in the exact same place, like literally bullseye, 3 times in a row. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. And you're just watching and going, oh my God, he is as good as they say he is, if not better. If not better. Because we forget Israel Adesanya is a freaking 31-year-old. He looks like a 21-year-old, but he's a 31-year-old. And when you see 31-year-old, you're like, oh, it makes sense. That's why he's so calculated. That's why he's so patient. That's why he understands the game. He understands the antics, but he's not that emotional. I mean, they start going off. He's kicking off his legs, and he's just having his way with him, man. He's staying on the outside. He's picking him apart. And a lot of people who watch the fight are going to tell you, hey, man, Paulo Costa just wasn't there that night. The guy who rushed Romero, who started throwing shots trying to get him out of there, that wasn't the same guy in here. I want to take the blame away from Costa of not being there and more on Izzy being absolutely bloody brilliant. I'll tell you why, man. When you have people in there who are so good at what they do, it just makes it look so easy, even though it's not. It's just easy to the naked eye. And I think one of those things with Adesanya is you know what he's going to do. You know he's going to kickbox you. You know what Khabib's going to do. You know he's going to take you down. You knew what Mike Tyson was going to do. You know he'd slip and hit you with an uppercut, get you to the body. You know, man. You know Conor's going to look for that touch of death left hand. But it doesn't matter what you know, because you're not going to be able to do a damn thing about it. Khabib will take you down if he wants to. Unless you're Ally Quinto, but that's a different story. But Khabib will take you down if he wants to. And I think that's what happened with Izzy, man. I think he knew what he was. He knew what he was getting into. But it wasn't until he starts getting kicked and he starts looking at Adesanya's movement and he starts noticing in Izzy's own words that he's not a human punching bag. He's not just going to stand there. You can't fight an elite, sophisticated counter striker the same way you'd fight a brawler. They're not going to stand there just throwing haymakers, man. He's too smart. He's done too many fights. He has too much experience. He's too clean. He's not going to stand there for you. Several times in the fight, Costa's like, yo, come on, let's do it right here, right here. And Adesanya just shakes his head. He's like, no, you think I'm just going to stand there? You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. Now, one thing that I liked about this is, this was shades of what Izzy did with Yoel Romero, but he was more aggressive this time. He didn't go in blindly. He didn't go in stupidly. but he did initiate when he could. Adesanya is a counter striker, man. He's very Anderson Silva-like. Anderson Silva-like with respect of he'll wait back, he'll wait for you to throw your shot, do your thing, he'll just calculate you. A brilliant thing, man, that I think changed the complexity of the fight was this. If it wasn't his amazing distance management. Adesanya throws a kick, right? Pop, lands. It hurts. Costa does a brilliant poker face. Throws another kick. Pop. That one lands too. Then the third time, instead of throwing a kick for the third time, he just dips his body a little bit and he rotates his hip. Now, whenever you're throwing a kick, naturally you're going to rotate your hip so you can get the full extension, you get the whip off the kick, correct? Especially a roundhouse kick. And what he does is he just twists that hip a little bit just to see Costa's reaction. Because either A, he's going to overreact, pull back too much, put himself in a bad position. B, he's not going to react at all, which means if I go for it, he's not going to react fast enough. I'm going to hit him. And just calculate his movements and figure out what does he do if I do X. And based on that, like, it's actually super calculated. So, man, the amount of feints and fakes he threw was just unbelievable. Like, it's like if you really look at every time he just twists his hip and just throws a fake jab, bob, weave. It was just so fun to watch. Like, you're like, oh my God. It was another indication of like I could never do this. Not because I can't get punched in the face and keep going, which is definitely a huge factor. But when you get to the fakes, the feints, the deception, I mean, my friend, that is the psychology of fighting in and of itself, is it not? Adesanya, again, brilliantly, I'm going to kick you in the leg once. I'm going to kick you in the leg twice. I'm going to kick you in the leg 3 times. Guess what's coming next? Kick in the leg? That's what you think. I'm going to punch you in the face. That's where it gets magical. Because now you really start messing with someone. If I can get you to think about your legs for 1 second, and I can punch you in the face, man, you're in trouble. And if I can keep punching you in the face, and then a kick to the body. Right? You make the hands move. The brain can't keep up. Right? You can't think about attacking if you're constantly looking at him, looking at his motions, trying to read him. It's extremely hard, man. And with a guy like Adesanya, I don't know if I see anyone right now in the roster beating him at his own game. In my opinion, the greatest ever counter striker who's ever lived, man, Anderson Silva fought with him. And they both played that game. That I'm going to throw, you throw, I'm going to say. And Adesanya bested him. If Anderson Silva can't stay on the outside, man, Costa had no business being on the outside. Here's the thing. If I was Costa, I would have thought, I'm going to rush him against the cage and clinch. I would have thought, hell, maybe I'll shoot a takedown. I don't know. Just get him off his feet. I would have thought, maybe I just, even if I had him clinch him, just pin him against the cage and just tee off on him. And I think when none of those things worked, when Izzy was just a step ahead, he at one point just went, I have no idea what to do. And he unfortunately became a human punching bag. He just stood there and Izzy would just go to town on him and he wasn't there when he went after him. So that was really the biggest thing, guys. And then finally, second round comes. He knocks him. I believe he clips him right, I want to say on the ear or right by the temple. Costa goes down. He goes on top with some nasty ground and pound. Couple of, I think, hammer fists and then 2 or 3 elbows and that was it. And I think it's one of those things where you have a guy who's just such an amazing fighter. And it is so fascinating to see, my friends. It is so like when the more you learn about martial arts, the more you watch this stuff, right? The more you understand the experience of, wow, these aren't just 2 bozos fighting. These are 2 people who have perfected their craft, and it's deception, and it's showmanship, and it's taunting, and there's so many different factors involved. At the end of the day, again, my thing is less on Costa, you suck, you didn't turn up tonight, man. I just think that Adesanya is really freaking good. Adesanya is really freaking good, and you can call him too skinny, you can say he's too hype, you can say whatever. The only thing I want to say to you, man, is 20-0. And in the UFC, you don't just become 20-0. I'm trying to think, is anyone even close to 20-0? Besides Khabib, there's no one else I can think of. I might be making a mistake. If you know someone, let me know, but it was absolutely brilliant, man. If you guys want to know the strikes, Adesanya was 55 total strikes to 12 total strikes from Costa. He was barely throwing. And again, I'm going back to my point. I think he was so focused on the feints and the fakes, and I'm going to kick you in the leg, kick you in the leg, fake kick you in the leg, punch you in the face, fake punch you in the face, kick you in the stomach, and he just didn't go off. I think, when you talk about like brain shutting down, you have some people who are just truly the best at what they do. And I think even though you know, man, what Mike Tyson's going to do, you know he's gonna pressure you, bob and weave and get in. You know Khabib's going to take you down. You know Adesanya's going to play the kickboxing game. There's not a damn thing you can do about it. It's just, it is what it is, man. You got people who are, unless you're so freaking good, you either have to play their game and beat them, or you got to find a loophole. You got to find a way around it. So, unfortunately, or fortunately for Adesanya, Costa came up short. I definitely don't think this is the last that we'll see of him. So we'll see what's next in line for him. And Adesanya, in his post-fight interview, called out, I think it was Jared, how do you pronounce it? Canuera? Jared? We'll call him Jared. Well, our homie Jared, who is fighting Robert Whittaker. And he's like, yeah, man, if Jared beats Whittaker, you know, I want to fight him next. But if Whittaker beats Jared, I'll fight Whittaker next. So overall, guys, an interesting fight, just in the sense of, Israel Adesanya did what Israel Adesanya does. That was the basis of this fight. He picked him apart. And to my own surprise, it wasn't even 5 rounds. He picked him apart in the first round. In the first round, things were not looking good for Costa. In the second round, he just doubled down on everything he was doing. Harder leg kicks. Slipping and dipping more. Throwing more. And, man, it all happened so fast, and he made it look so damn easy because he is so damn good.